You know, health is wealth, and it's one of my platforms that I am very passionate to talk about. Breast cancer is killing many women, women of color, and I want to talk more about it with the First Aid with Kelly Kinkaid. Today, I want to welcome two women who have Black Girl Magic, and I'm so honored to have them. My first is my girlfriend, support your sisters, Lyndsay, Levingston. How are you today?
I'm wonderful, Kelly. Thank you for having us on.
Yes.
It's so good to always see you.
Yes, and I'm very honored to have someone who is a true pioneer in media. Always got a chance to see her and enjoy her through many platforms on TV, BET Teen Summit, MTV, and the list goes on. And I get a chance to enjoy her on Instagram, educating me with health. Welcome to the show, Ananda Lewis. How are you?
Thank you, Kelly. It's nice to be here. I'm
Yes,
great. Happy
nice
to be with Lyndsay,
here.
encouraging all
Absolutely.
women to stay healthy.
Yes, and we're talking about breast cancer, and I want to talk about, because both of you all have testimonies with this, and I want to share because you have, Lyndsay, you have a platform called Survive Her. Let's talk about your journey, both of y'all's journey, and the testimony and what we're doing now.
So I like to refer to my testimony as a testimony of survivorship, my story of survivorship. So in July 2019, I felt a lump in my right breast during a self-exam, and I immediately scheduled a doctor's appointment to check it out. And it turned out that after a series of my very first mammogram, 3D mammogram, breast ultrasound, biopsy, that the mass I discovered on my own was cancerous. So I was diagnosed in New York City, moved back home to Houston, underwent aggressive treatment for what was triple negative stage 2B breast cancer. Triple negative is the most aggressive subtype of breast cancer in women. So my breast surgeon recommended we attack it aggressively, 15 rounds of chemotherapy, bilateral mastectomy, breast reconstruction, and I learned that I carried the BRCA1 gene mutation. And my breast cancer was genetically, I would say, prompted. So I had my ovaries and fallopian tubes removed to reduce my risk of ovarian cancer, all because of the gene mutation, which puts you at higher risk for breast and ovarian cancers. All of that within a span of a few months, and then I started Survivor to inform, inspire, and to empower women about breast cancer awareness and wellness beyond the month of October. Because we are not just diagnosed in October.
Hello.
Although there is a pink spotlight on breast cancer awareness during that month, it's important that we are educating women year-round. And so I consider Survivor my ministry. And I really am grateful to God for saving me so that I can help women. Because when I was diagnosed, I had no idea what to expect. I thought it was what's considered your grandmother's disease, that I could die. But there are so many advances now, traditional and non-traditional, and Ananda will talk about that will heal us. It's all about healing and living our best, healthiest lives. So
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that you're doing this. And Ananda, you shared a lot of your journey. When did you find out that you had breast cancer,
Yeah.
and it was in what stage?
Lyndsay and I were diagnosed the same year. Mine was January.
I was July, 2019.
Yeah, 2019. And when I also found mine with self-exam, found a lump, I got a thermography scan, so it finds heat in the body and it lit up. I encourage women to get mammograms because that was my biggest mistake. The thing I should have done was been getting a mammogram from the time I was 40. The recommendation was 50 at the time, but my mother had breast cancer. My sister had, well, that wasn't until after mine, but it runs in my family, but there's no genetic link. But I knew because my mom had it that I had like a 30-something% more higher chance of experiencing it. I also felt like my mom did everything she was supposed to do with mammograms every year for 30 years. And we know radiation can cause cancer. So I created went with the idea, a lot of women think this, that those mammograms were what was causing cancer. And whether or not that's true, the benefit of mammograms outweighs the risk.
Yeah.
And so that's why I looked at my story and said, as much as I didn't want people in my business, because it opens a whole can of worms,
Yes.
and the way that for me, there was a lot of embarrassment, like not taking care of myself, being this successful woman who made a stupid mistake. All those things were things I had to contend with in my own heart and mind before I shared it. And it was more important for me to deal with those things, overcome them, and share it so that other women who I knew felt like me, thought like me, and were maybe saying no to mammograms like me, understood that it was a mistake and understood they needed to do something. Yeah. Now I advocate for 3D ultrasounds. I think they're more effective for Black women. Our dense breast tissue matters. But whatever you choose to do, you have to take advantage of early detection because it'll save your life.
How did you all connect?
So after I founded Survivor, I reached out to her through direct messaging after she shared her story publicly.
Social media.
I slid into her
Thank
DM.
God for social media.
And she was so gracious to accept my invitation to interview the first interview on my podcast, which I need to jump the start. And
it's hard to keep track of with everything. It's a lot.
But she was just so kind to say, yes, I'm happy to share my story. And so I really appreciate her for that. But I slid into her DMs.
It works all kinds of ways.
Both of you all are in media. We talked about podcasting, and I want to go, how do you feel about just the new media and podcasting and people who are on the mic?
So I love Ananda's perspective on this, as a veteran in the industry. Let her go first.
I think that it is amazing that really not just social media, but technology, the improvement in technology, all the phones that are now cameras and mics, and everybody can have a voice, right? And so I think that's beautiful on one hand because we need the variety of voices. And for so long, especially our people, melanated people, were silenced because of not having access. Now we all have access. So the beauty is that we can all be heard. The downside of that is that it can get really noisy, right? And now you have everybody talking about everything all the time. So how do you know who to listen to? The upside of even that downside is that people have discernment. You get to choose, what you gravitate toward. You get to choose. And it is my deepest desire that we're using that gift of discernment to be able to choose things that benefit us and other people and not just use it for gossip or nonsense or things that, take us down, but to really use it for things that uplift us. There's no more excuse to not have the information to save your life with. There's no more excuse to not have the ability to go out and create what you want in the world because it's at your fingertips.
Yeah.
So I see it both ways. It's been good and bad. Depends on how you use it.
Well, I appreciate that social media in particular allows women in this day and age to learn more about breast cancer. So I know there are pros and cons, but I'm seeing it more as an opportunity to save lives. There could be a woman who's watching this interview who is maybe timid to get a mammogram and is inspired and empowered to schedule that mammogram just through the power of watching this media platform. So I view it as a blessing, really.
We just spoke to somebody, the host of one of the shows we were on in the media we did, and she was saying, I keep putting it off, I haven't done it either. And now she's like, okay, I'm gonna get it done. I mean, it's one woman at a time.
Absolutely.
And so the more people we can reach, the better.
Being survivors and really crusaders to get this message out, how has your health lifestyle elevated?
Well, I will say I'm more intentional about diet, although I will say before I was diagnosed, I was in tip-top shape. I was an avid runner. I was following a pescatarian diet. So I was healthy. It was just I was genetically predisposed to breast cancer. But right now I'm even more mindful about reducing my level of stress. Because stress can fuel disease in our bodies. I think I heard you say that too.
It's true.
So reducing stress, living life to its fullest, because I know that God gave me a second chance, so I'm going to live bigger now. And just staying on top of fitness and health, and it's intentionality. Just being really intentional about how I'm living and what goes in my body.
Okay. How about
I would
you?
say it's almost the same, because anytime you face a health scare like this, you start to change everything.
Absolutely.
One of my best friends says it's an invitation to change. If you choose not to change, you might not have that great of an outcome, because in some ways, outside of genetic cases like Lyndsay's, and even within a genetic case, you have to activate those genes for them to then become a problem. Some people have the gene, it never gets activated, right? So either way, how you treat your body, what you do, lifestyle matters. And so it made me step back and take a real look, a deep assessment of the things I was doing wrong and fix those things. Sleep, stress, nutrition, exercise, all of those things matter, and all of those things can contribute to the body creating diseases like cancer.
I agree. I'm curious for you, Ananda, because your journey has been amazing, and I guess I highlight it because we've grown up with you. We've seen you grow up.
Right. We grew up together.
Yeah, exactly. Will there be a book in the making for you?
You know, I've been thinking about doing stuff, and I'm like, man, I don't have time.
I think it would
Things
be
take
really
so
good.
much. I mean, I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
So maybe I do better in like the video realm. So one thing I'm working on right now is a workshop about anti-aging, because what I found is that the same things that fight cancer help you stop aging. And so that cellular health is really important. There are things you can do in terms of your nutrition and supplementation, but also just in terms of how you treat your face and how you work your body out. Like some exercises are better for anti-aging than others. And because I've kind of found all this stuff, I'm sharing it with a workshop. So it's my Age Slow workshop.
AgeSlow.co.
Yeah, AgeSlow.co.
Okay,
Yeah, it's still in the pre-launch. I'm almost done with it. But I think it's going to be very helpful for a lot of people when I'm done.
I love it.
It's one way to share.
How can people learn more about you all's partnership and Survive Her? How can we learn more and just continue to tap in with you guys?
So our website is imasurviveher.org, and we're on all social media platforms, Survive Her. And Ananda and I we're hosting an event tomorrow.
A beautiful brunch.
Our inaugural brunch. And then, of course, who knows what's going to happen after that?
Yeah.
Just stay tuned.
God is good, and I just feel like, I know for Lyndsay, this is probably true too, but my life is just being led. And when you're being led, it's your job to follow.
Absolutely.
Don't fight, just follow.
And people can follow you and tap in at Ananda Lewis?
On Instagram, I'm Ananda Lewis.
Okay.
And that's really, Instagram's my biggest place. I love Instagram the most, so I'm Ananda Lewis.
I want to thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you for having
this
us.
is amazing. We got to continue the conversation on and on to educate. It's so important. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly,
Thank you
for
so
having
much.
us.
Yes, thank you. Lyndsay, Levingston, and Ananda Lewis.